Okay, you want to watch out, U.S. taxpayers, because the IRS is going to get their cash. We have the U.S. expanding its crackdown on offshore tax evasion, now going beyond Switzerland and UBS. The Justice Department is conducting an investigation into HSBC clients who may have failed to disclose accounts in India and Singapore. Now, the bank is not mentioned in those letters, by the way, sent up by the Department of Justice, but those who have received those letters all have accounts with HSBC. Now, HSBC has declined to comment, but let's get more on the situation. In fact, we have our next guest who says that, like UBS before, HSBC is likely cooperating with the U.S. government by providing names and also account information. Let's get more from Chicago now. We have Robert McKenzie, a partner at Arnstein and Lehr. Robert has been approached by HSBC clients who have received these letters from the Department of Justice, and his firm also represented more than 30 individuals with UBS accounts. So welcome to the program, Robert. So let me just first ask about HSBC and UBS. Is it only these international banks that are being targeted here by the IRS?
The IRS has said publicly that they're going after banks which Americans are putting their money in offshore, and literally the ones that are the biggest targets are the large international banks with a U.S. presence. That gives the IRS jurisdiction to pursue those banks and to threaten very serious sanctions against the particular bank for not responding to demands for information.
And why India and Singapore? I was actually kind of surprised that Hong Kong was not in that list of cities and accounts, since it was mentioned, Hong Kong was mentioned before by the U.S. government as a tax haven.
I don't know if we just haven't seen the letters from Hong Kong, or there was some difficulty because of Hong Kong laws that prevented HSBC from being very responsive. My view as to India is India itself has a program to try to find its citizens who put money offshore from India, and I would expect that there may be some cooperation between the U.S. government and the Indian government, which motivated HSBC to disclose Indian clients' names.
Now, Robert, you've been approached by these HSBC clients who have received these letters from the Department of Justice. What are they saying to you right now?
Well, they're very nervous. Two people that I've spoken to have received letters saying that they have offshore accounts. Both have HSBC accounts in India. Both the accounts exceeded $1 million U.S. dollars. And they're very worried that they're going to be prosecuted, because the letters do indeed come from the Department of Justice saying that they've been referred for prosecution.
And your recommendation then for those HSBC clients that have not disclosed their offshore account holdings so far?
Well, the IRS has a voluntary disclosure program, which is if you come in before they discover your name, they will not prosecute. But the problem you have is if they know your name but they haven't yet told you, you may be giving them more detail. But the only correct answer is to secure the services of a U.S. attorney, go to the IRS Criminal Investigation Division and say, I want to voluntarily disclose that I have a foreign account in a bank offshore. At some point later, you'll get a clearance letter that will assure you will not be prosecuted, but you will face a regime of penalties and taxes that you'll have to pay.
Okay, and what's going to happen with HSBC, Robert? Is it going to go the way of UBS, pay around $700 million in fines and then give up account information on thousands of its clients?
I don't know for sure, but I'm sure that the U.S. is threatening serious sanctions against HSBC, but they may be trying to prevent that type of ultimate event by being more cooperative than UBS. UBS only agreed to cooperate at the point of the gun. They were going to be indicted here in the U.S., and instead they agreed to a deferred prosecution agreement and to pay a $780 million fine. And they finally, now a year later, are about to disclose about 4,450 names.
Okay. Robert, thank you for your time. Robert McKenzie of Arnstein and Lehr.